Hey there, Simon Walker here for Red Giant. I'm going to show you how to get started with Denoiser II. It's a plugin which, as the name suggests, targets and reduces noise and artifacts from video footage. But it reduces them intelligently by analysing the image, applying noise reduction and smoothing to the noisiest areas, whilst keeping definition in the areas with fine detail. Here's how it works. I'm using After Effects on the Mac, but Denoiser II is cross-platform and works in exactly the same way on the PC. This footage was shot indoors without proper lighting on my Canon 7D, so because of the low light you can easily see the noise in this shot, especially in the background. Modern digital video cameras, including DSLRs, are very good at defining details in the image when shooting in low light, but they do this with a trade-off of introducing video noise, usually into areas of flat colour, like on these walls. One of the jobs of a modern editor is to treat shots to make them look their best, so in this case I want to clean up the background. You apply Denoiser II from the Effects menu, so Effect, Magic Bullet, Denoiser II, and instantly the background walls are much smoother. I'll just zoom in a bit and toggle the filter on and off to show the before and after states of the effect. The blocky video noise has been smoothed out to make the image look much better. You can also see how the noise is distributed over the different video channels. Here's the noise in the red channel and how the plugin is reducing it. Here's the blue channel, showing how this wall is much smoother now. This is all at the default settings. You can adjust exactly how much denoising you want with the main noise reduction slider. It defaults to 100%, but you can drag it all the way up to 300%. This shot is still a little blotchy and needs a little more noise reduction, so I'll drag the slider up a bit. Here's how the background, both the shadow areas and the midtones, are being improved by the smoothing out of the noise reduction. Denoiser II is not just smoothing the image, the algorithm in the plugin automatically analyzes the video and only reduces the noisy regions, keeping definition in areas with fine detail. You can control how much definition with the enhancement slider. And as well as dragging, you can double-click to input specific values. Enhancement works by adjusting the local contrast of fine detail or adding a sharpening effect. Most of the time you can leave sharpening set to around 20 or 30%, or sometimes even up to 50% on soft images. 50% on this shot dramatically brings out fine detail in the hair. I'm toggling the effect on and off. And this balances the amount of noise reduction I've set up. So these two sliders, noise reduction and enhancement, are built to work in tandem, so you can fine-tune and balance the amount of noise reduction and enhancement in each shot. Of course, it's possible to set enhancement to 100%, which in this shot dramatically exaggerates the details in the edges of the mirror, and also the highlights on the backs of the chairs. Because it's performing a sharpening function, it's creating a halo effect on these highlights, so the 100% setting is too high for this shot. But it's there in case you need it. You can adjust it to suit. The important thing is that you've got control over the settings and you can fine-tune each shot. I'll set it a bit lower so I've got a nice balance between the noise reduction and the fine detail. The development team at Red Giant has spent a lot of time configuring how much noise is removed and how much detail is retained at the default settings, as they're very aware that people are working on deadlines, so they need to be able to get good, fast results. Throw on the plugin, do a little tweaking, and then move on to the next shot. They've also completely rebuilt the plugin from the ground up, with the emphasis not only on the speed of processing, but also making it as stable as possible. It works in After Effects CS3 right up to the current version of After Effects, so it's both 32-bit and 64-bit compatible. The proof of the effect is, of course, in the playback. I've just rendered a bit of this shot to show you how much of the fizzing noise in the background has been reduced, making the walls look much cleaner. Now I'll show you the original shot without Denoiser II applied, with all the distracting, fizzy, noisy areas. In fact, as well as visually improving shots, removing noise helps at the encoding stage of a project, because when you're exporting your timeline, any noisy sections can be exaggerated by the compression process, especially if you're exporting to the web or at low data rates. Also, less noise in the shot means the encoding process can be more efficient, and you can get better looking video at smaller file sizes. Plus, it's a great way to either improve a shot or rescue one that was otherwise unusable because of the noise. You may have noticed that I've got both Denoiser I and Denoiser II installed on the same machine. You can have them sitting side by side. Because the code for Denoiser II is completely rewritten, you'll need to reapply it to previous projects, but the interface is almost identical. You can adjust the fine-tuning offsets, which let you increase the amount of noise reduction in specific channels. These update depending on the type of source on which your video was originated. So if the footage source is set to video, you've got control over the luminance and chroma channels, and also over how much chroma compression artifacts are smoothed out. There's a new fine details control, which allows further fine-tuning over the amount of noise reduced in really detailed areas of the image. And if you're working with footage originally shot on film, and then later scanned as RGB, you can switch the footage source to film, and the fine-tuning controls update accordingly, letting you adjust the noise in each channel. Similarly, the shadow and highlight offset controls let you control or target how much noise is reduced in the brighter or darker areas of the image. So in this shot, I can increase the amount of noise reduction applied to the shadows and darker areas of the walls, whilst at the same time limit how much smoothing is applied to the brighter parts of the image. These controls are most useful for videos shot in low light, where it's handy to be able to concentrate more on removing the noise from the shadows rather than the highlights. Denoiser II is designed to help you work more quickly, so it automatically samples noise at the current frame, but you can help increase the amount of noise it detects by using the noise detection level control. Switching on Show Noise Detection gives you a visual indication of which areas of the image are considered noise. Large clusters of blocks show uniform areas that can be perceived as noise, and the more you drag the noise detection level slider, increased areas will be used to create the noise fingerprint. This fingerprint is used for the whole clip, so if you're not getting the exact results you want, try sampling another frame, or a particularly noisy frame, which you can do by moving the current time indicator, or playhead, and clicking the Sample Frame button. So on this shot, across multiple frames, it's doing a great job of targeting the noise typically present in areas of flat color. Denoiser has motion detection settings to deal with video clips that have lots of movement in them. This is a shot from the excellent short film Plot Device, directed by Zeth Worley, which you can see up on the redgiant.com website. This shot has got lots of camera movement, and the main actor is running through the scene. It was also filmed towards the end of the day, when they were starting to run out of light, so it's got a little bit of noise, but not dramatically so. The problem with noise, though, is that it can be easily exaggerated with color correction or exposure adjustments. I've used Colorista 2 to give the shot a slight exposure lift, which has made the underlying noise much more visible. This is especially easy to see in the red channel. Denoiser II does a pretty good job of combating the noise, smoothing out the background, whilst still emphasizing some of the details on the folds of his shirt. But for shots like this, with lots of movement, you can select motion estimation to do a more intelligent denoising process by automatically comparing which pixels have moved between frames and deciding what is actual noise and what is natural motion. When you switch on motion estimation, it enables the noise hint setting, which also helps Denoiser decide what are the moving elements in the shot and what is noise. It helps the motion estimation process do its job better, and as a rule of thumb, choose the noise setting from the drop-down menu that closest matches the density of noise in your shot. If you're still seeing artifacts in the image after the denoising process, then increase the setting to a higher value. So on this shot, without motion estimation switched on, there are still a few artifacts present around the hands, mostly because they're moving very quickly through the frame. When I enable motion estimation though, with the noise hint set to high, these artifacts are reduced and the picture is cleaner. You get a better result on shots with a lot of movement with motion estimation switched on. Also, the higher you set the noise hint value, the more the plugin analyzes the image, which on the highest settings is a computationally intensive task. So start with the fastest setting, with motion estimation switched off, which is the default, and then add estimation and noise hints depending on how much movement there is in your footage and how much noise there is. Even though Denoiser II has been completely rebuilt from scratch, this is a free update if you own Denoiser, and it's also a free update if you own Magic Bullet Suite 10 or 11. While After Effects is the only supported host application at the moment, Denoiser II is planned to be made compatible with additional hosts, and if you own it for one host, you can use it on all the supported host software on both PC and Mac platforms. This is part of Red Giant's Red Pledge guarantee, which also includes a 30-day money-back guarantee, free product support, and of course access to free tutorials like this one. So have a go at trying this out on your own footage, reducing the noise and making your shots look better. Once again, I'm Simon Walker for Red Giant, and until the next time, good luck and have fun.